Hello everyone, welcome to another review video! What's poppin', Pop Rocks? Today, we're gonna be talking about Amphibia! A show that I really like. I've watched it, or rewatched it, several times now, and I'm gonna tell you about it. I wrote stuff about it right here. Give me one moment, please. Oh god. Huzzah! Here we go. So, Amphibia is a show that airs on Disney Channel. It aired last year, and I believe it started in June 2019. And it stars a girl named Anne Boonchoy, who gets teleported into a world filled with sentient amphibians, as well as her two other friends, Marcy and Sasha. So, the show is about Anne Boonchoy trying to find her way back home, as well as her friends. And it's created by Matt Braley, who I don't know much about, but I think he worked on Gravity Falls. I might be wrong. However, this show I really enjoyed, and I'm going to go off about it. That's why I make these. I'm going to be avoiding spoilers so that you guys can watch it. I'm going to try to intrigue you to watching it. So let us begin, shall we? Woo, epic cool YouTube opening that I don't have yet. So, Amphibia starts off like most kids' shows that, would have a story, is that the first episode, he's like, oh, story time, and then like the rest of the episodes, it's sort of like, monster of the day, problem of the day, gotta do this whole thing, gotta do that whole thing, and then mid-season finale hits, and it's like, wow, story again, and then finale hits again, and it's like, wow, story, with like maybe some episodes sprinkled in between of like, ooh, tidbits of story, and all that. However, unlike, I would say, other kids shows, is that the problem of the day or what happens to the characters, I find them very entertaining and interesting and fun to watch, and it makes me keep my eyes on it, like I love Polly being absolutely brutal, and Sprig Planter, which is the little frog guy, he's a fun kid, and then Anne, and then there's the fan family trope. It's it's a whole fun thing. So the meat of the show in itself is very entertaining. It gives you a reason to care about why the characters are doing this or doing that. It's fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. I keep saying that. I'm sorry. Through the series, of course, there's like character arcs and character development of like from point A to point B, and you see them grow and care about each other and just form bonds. And one thing that Amphibia does an amazing job at, I would say, is that if you watch the whole series through without skipping anything, from episode 1 to episode 20, you're going to be caring about the characters for one reason or another, unless you decide to completely detach yourself and you just, decided to spend like 2 or 4 hours of your time to watch an entire series and be completely detached of characters. It sounds nearly impossible. I digress. Anyways, so it makes you care about them, like, oh, they're doing this, or why did you do that? No! And once the finale hits, it hits you right in the gut, because the show spent its time well, making you care about, about Anne, about Sprig and Hop Pop and Polly and her family, the town, and even Anne's friends who don't get mentioned very often, but the way that Anne tells them, it's sort of like, oh man, I can't wait to meet this person type of deal. It's truly enjoyable. I mean, of course, no show is perfect. It's a kid's show, so there's, of course, those little inconsistencies with characters of like, haha, I pulled out this random thing out of my pockets. Like, Sprig, where did you get that? What do you call them? Slingshot. Where did you get that slingshot? Or like, hey, didn't you bring those papers? And it's like, hey, Anne, didn't you drop your phone on the water? Why do you have it back now? And it's just, little inconsistencies, I would say, that don't, they're not that big a deal to enjoying the show. You can't, I would say that you shouldn't always be nitpicking at every single little detail you find in a cartoon, especially a kid's cartoon, about like, oh, they did this and they did that, and it's like, okay, but like these tiny little micro actions, did they matter that much? is it relevant to plot? To sort of say it that way. I mean, other times, I would say this is a little bit bigger, is that, something will happen and it follows very much that status quo of, like, here's the problem of the day. Problem is solved, back to the status quo of this and that. However, it does, it acknowledges that that thing happened. It's not like, haha, it is back to square one. Sort of like Gumball that does that, but Gumball is supposed to be that way. I don't want to get into other shows. I want to talk about Amphibia, because I really like Amphibia. It has frogs in it. Come on. It's epic. Anyways, where was I going? I forgot. So yeah, anyways. So yeah, sometimes it could also feel like one thing will happen in one episode, and then, like, episodes later, like, many episodes later, it's like, oh, haha, remember that thing we did? Or the other way around, where it's like, this thing happens, and then the next episode, it's like another thing that calls back to it, and then it's sort of like, but shouldn't the order have been different? I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm trying to talk about its flaws, because every piece of media has flaws in some sort of manner, in some sort of way, whether it be because of one thing or the other. No show is perfect, but as Enchapta said in She-Ra, imperfections are beautiful. So yeah, it has its flaws. However, I don't think that you should pay attention to those flaws and just enjoy the show for what it is, because I really like it. I think it's really enjoyable. I very much recommend it. Please watch Amphibia. I want more people to watch it. That's the review. I give it a 9 out of 10, because it could use some work. But it's only the first season, and I'm sure it's going to get better in season 2, which I'm very hyped about. So please, if you could just sit down and give Amphibia a chance. Maybe it reminds you of another show that you watched. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you don't even like it, but just give it a chance, because it's a show worth watching. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.